So this challenge card says gain 2 reputation for each chamber in a single cluster of chambers. Cluster! Hey guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Bob.
And this is the Board Game Rundown, and today we are reviewing Stonespine Architects, published by Thunderworks Games, designed by Jordy Auden. This was sent to us by Thunderworks Games, so thanks to them, but we're still going to give you our honest thoughts on the game. So in Stonespine Architects, we are building a dungeon, and we're going to do that by drafting cards. So each player draws a hand of 5 cards. We're going to explain the 2-player game. We're going to pick one card, we're going to discard a card, we're going to take what's left, we're going to give it to the other player, and then we're going to draw a card from the deck to add back to the hand. Now, take the one card that you've selected, and in year 1, place it anywhere in the top row of your dungeon. It can go anywhere, left to right, right to left, or somewhere in the middle. We're going to continue to do this until we have placed 4 cards in the first year. There are 4 years, so you're going to place 16 cards in your dungeon by the end of the game. At the end of the first year, you are going to add up all of the gold that is on your cards at the bottom there. So for example, this would be 3, 6, 9, 11. Plus, I would add any treasure tokens that I may have anywhere in my dungeon, not just in this row. So for example, this would be 12 gold. So I add my gold over here. Bob adds his gold. And let's say that Bob has the most gold, assuming he's already got more gold than me. Whoever has the most money then is going to buy cards off of the, buy tokens off of the market or pass. So now what Bob gets to do is spend his money here over in the market. He can buy all of the tokens on one row of these cards. So let's say he spent all 7 for this treasure and this reputation token. And he gets to add those to anywhere on his dungeon. Each card has 4 slots. Now you can't put something on top of something that's already there, but for example, I have 1 open slot on this card, and I've got 2 open slots on this card. So he immediately places those into his dungeon. Now, Bob spent 7, so he goes back to 7. Let's say Bob had only spent like $2. If he had the most money, he would get to buy again, and then he would buy cards, or he could pass. If he passes first, he takes priority for tiebreakers moving forward. Then he gets first dibs on the challenge cards over here. Challenge cards are one of the most important ways to score points at the end of the game. There's a lot of variation on those. I'm not going to go over all of them. One straight up gives you 10 points. Just 10 points, there you go. But a lot of them are more about strategic location of putting these market tiles and these printed goods on in your dungeon strategically. Like for example, gain 3 reputation for each unique trap in your dungeon. Well, there's 5 different types of traps in the game, so you'd be trying to collect all of those. And some of these will even give you points for clusters and trying to group your cave chambers together and your stone chambers together. So that gives you an idea of the challenge cards that are available. The other way that you're going to score is the goal card. There's a whole bunch of them, but you're going to choose one at the end of the game, and all players will publicly compete for this goal. This one, for example, is have the most gnolls in your dungeon. They're kind of werewolf looking guys. So whoever has the most at the end of the game gets for 15 points or 15 reputation. If there's a tie, this is where that priority comes in. If Bob and I both had 8 gnolls on our board at the end of the game, he'd have priority and he would break that tie and get 15 points. I'd only get 9. So we continue doing this, adding these cards until we get to the end here and we have 16, and then all of the points are added at the end of the game. So the in-game scoring is pretty straightforward. They even give you very handy reference cards that show you setup, all of the icons, and final scoring. We talked about final priority. We talked about the goal card. chamber reputation. So that's just all the stars that are just printed on your cards. And there are some that will come out. So there are reputation cards that will be randomly added, tokens added to those cards there. Also your blueprint. So this blueprint at the beginning of the game gives you 8 requirements, and you need to try to get these goods in those specific spots. If you get all of them, it's worth 20 points, but if I'm only able to achieve 6 of them, too bad, it's only 10 points. The last one is Dungeon Pass. You're going to gain 1 reputation for each chamber connected to the entrance or the exit of your chamber. So for example, you can see in this game here, I did a really poor job of that last time. So my entrance here only has these 2 here. A much better example is probably Bob's board. Why don't you just show them all the points you racked up for yours?
Right. So coming in the entrance here was 1, and that comes over here to 2. Also 3, 4, connects 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that was for the entrance, and then since it connects entrance to exit, it would count back the other way also, so I had 22 points for that.
Yeah, and that's a big portion of why he beat me by 10 points in our first game. But those are all the rules you need to know how to play Stonespine Architects. It's a very straightforward game. A 2-player game really only took us about 35 minutes, even in a learning game.
Yeah.
But good depth compared to the amount of rules here. So that's our overview of how to play. Bob,
Yes.
what do you think of this?
I actually really enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed the art. I love the whole concept of like the dungeon building and the way they do it. Is fairly straightforward, where you're dealing like the first year, you're on the first row, and then the next one you go down again and then down again, so you're going playing it over 4 rounds. The draft is cool because you're picking one you want, and then you're burying one that you're keeping somebody else from taking. So I was like, Mike needs a gelatinous cube this round, so that can go away. And then you're adding one from the top of the deck each turn, and I thought that was super interesting. The whole trying to make sure, like I kind of didn't pay a lot of attention to my blueprints, and I wanted to try to double up on my entrance and exit points. That was a big thing that I was trying to do. So I'm glad that paid off. But then the other interesting thing about the market, where you're saying whoever has the most gold gets to buy no matter what. So if I have way more gold, because there was a point where Mike was down at 6 and I was up at like, I don't know, 15 or 16 or something. So I was like, sweet, I'll buy this for 3. And then I'll buy this for 4.
You bought twice before I got to buy
I bought twice
once.
before he even had a chance to do something. And then I was like, he finally bought something. I was like, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pass, get priority, and get my dibs on one of these challenge cards I wanted. And I think that's super cool. I like the fact that these market cards change each time, so you're not getting the same, we get one of these ovals, 1 square, 1 circle each time. The prices change each time. What comes out changes each time, and that, adds a lot of variability. Player aids are always super handy, because I was like, hey, how many traps are in this, by the way? Oh, look, it's right here. It's got a breakdown of what they all are and what they're called and pictures of it. So there's no like color issues or anything, because everything is very icon based. The score pad actually worked out really well, because we're like, man, we had made a small mistake where I had taken one of these challenge cards in the last round, because we weren't quite sure. And then I was like, wait, it only shows 3 here. Then I looked in the book again. I'm like, oh, yeah, it does say 4th round, no challenge cards. Like, okay. So, I mean, even that little bit was super helpful. So, yeah, I enjoy this. I'm going to be honest, like the Minotaur that they got, like not a fan of the dude on the box, right? Not a fan of that. But, like, these gnolls are badass. Like the kobolds, the little goblin guys, the chest, everything else looks really good. I just, for some reason, I'm just not a huge fan of the Minotaur. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe that's why I was like maybe turned off to the game like at first. I was like, I don't like how that guy looked.
It's interesting.
He's looking at me funny
too, because they're nowhere in the game. So they are literally the architects that we're talking about that are building these.
Yeah. So. But no, this was a bunch of fun, and it was fast.
Yeah,
so,
very fast. This one is going to rank really high on what I call my CPR ratio, crunch per rule. It's really simple and easy to play. I'm just picking 1 card, placing it in my dungeon, passing the hand, and I'm going to do that 16 times. But all of the different things you have to consider on your turn. Maybe I want to try to create a column of gnolls because I got a challenge there. But I also need to make sure I'm matching up my blueprint and getting my gnolls in certain locations. I may have an in-game goal that's making me go after a whole bunch of gnolls. And then, making sure I've also got enough money that I have more money than Bob and can buy the market tokens I want if I think he's going to buy the ones that I want. The decisions on this turn are really interesting, and there's a lot to consider on your turn for what's a really easy rule set. I mean, I thought the rule book was very good. These player aids are literally perfect. I mean, I had hardly any questions after just a read of the rule book, going over these player aids. The iconography is excellent. There's really no confusing anything. They show you all the different traps and everything that could possibly be on a card. The score cards work great. I always like that Thunderworks is able to incorporate the world of Ulas in all of their games. And so, like, this has characters that you'll see in Role Player, and these games have some of the same characters you'll see in Lockup. And I just love this one congruous world, and the fact that they also use a lot of the same iconography for all their games. These are points in every Thunderworks games. There's no confusing what a star means. So I liked this quite a bit as well. At first, I was like, man, I don't know if there's a whole lot to this. But then as soon as you're drafting your first card, there's like, there's a lot I have to think about to choose this one card and play it down. And I like the decisions that are in this. Even when you get to that last round, and you're like, do I buy more tokens or do I pass to get priority? Because, well, one, having more priority gives you 3 extra points at the end of the game, but it also breaks ties at the end, which could be huge for these challenges that have the most of something, have the least of something. And so, yeah, this was surprising to me. I like this more than I thought I would as well.
Yep.
So there you go. Now we're going to score it. Bob, how do we score games on the rundown?
Here on the board game rundown, we are going to give this a score from 0, won't be 0, to 10. Probably not a 10. We also use 0.5s for a little bit of variance. We're going to take those scores, average them together, and that'll be what you see on like BGG, or if you ask us in a Discord what the board game rundown gave it. Yeah.
What's your score?
Higher than I thought it would be. It's an 8. I enjoy it. I was thinking it was going to be, a mediocre kind of game, but I really enjoyed what I was doing.
Reading the rules, I didn't think I would go that high, but then playing it, I am. I'm also at an 8. I find this enjoyable. Yeah. It plays fast. There's a lot to think about on your turn. I definitely want to see this with 4 players. Yeah. Because then even more cards are going around the table. So, yeah, this is enjoyable. And that makes our math easy, because that means our rundown score is an 8. Yeah, it's a good game. This made its debut at Origins last year. I'm sure you'll be able to pick up a copy from them at Origins this year. But this is easily available retail, online, wherever you want to find it.
Your local game store.
And your local game store as well. And it's a really solid game. I also want to say this insert. This insert's really good.
Really?
Yeah, look at this.
It's got a little piece of plastic to hold things down.
I didn't have to use a single baggie. All of these chits are there. There's a lid for all of them. And you just plop your decks in there. And this holds down all of the wood pieces. This insert is great.
Nice.
I'd be a little concerned about putting it on its side, and maybe this stuff could come out. I know Bob likes to save his punch boards.
Yeah, there you go.
So I did that to lift this up.
Yep.
But this is a great insert for a retail edition game.
Nice.
So very impressed there as well.
Now I need to take my dude from Role Player and run him through my dungeon and see how he does.
Yeah, there you go. And these were linen finish cards as well. Really nice art. Great job, Thunderworks. Really fun game. Bob, anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Awesome. If you made it this far, give the video a thumb. We appreciate new subs. We got a Discord, an Instagram, a Facebook. If you want to find us, you can. And support your indie publishers like Thunderworks Games. They make great games. So that is it for us. For the Board Game Rundown, I was Mike.
Bob.
See you next time.